The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
This is Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. Do you want to live a more fulfilling life? Do you want to live your legacy and achieve your personal, professional, and financial goals? Well, coming up on Divya Parekh's Beyond Confidence, you will hear real stories of leaders, entrepreneurs, and achievers who have stepped into discomfort, shattered their status quo, and are living the life they want. You will learn how relationships are the key to achieving your aspirations and financial goals. Moving your career or business forward does not have to happen at the expense of your personal or family life, or vice versa. Learn more at www.divyaparekh.com, and you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. This is Beyond Confidence, and now here's your host, Divya Parekh.
Good evening, listeners. So thrilled to be with you on a Monday evening, my favorite time. And today, we will be doing something different, asking a few different questions of our guests today. So, folks, you have been very generous getting my books, one of them being Expert to Influencer and The Entrepreneur's Garden and several others. Thank you for getting those books because the profits from those books are being donated to entrepreneurs with COVID-19 impact. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And today we are going to find out how you can find money in your business. So folks, as you'll recall, my request to you, find that 1 hour of time every month to help somebody else. And when you help somebody else, it's going to light up your brain because we have one circuit just designed to help others. And when you help others, you're helping yourself. So find that 1 hour and go for it. So welcome, Kimberly.
Hey, Divya, thanks for having me tonight.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you, Kimberly. So, Kimberly, let's touch base back sometime in your childhood. Do you have any memory that you recall that just stands out for you and that left a mark on you?
Oh, boy. I used to climb trees a lot. And, I even made a little sit-upon pad to take up into trees with me. I would take books and I would just hang out. And I remember getting into a lot of trouble once when I apparently had disappeared up into the leaves and no one knew where I was. And I had lost all track of time. And all of a sudden, I just hear my mom calling me, Kimberly. and it was just one of those moments that kind of stands out as far as who gets lost in the trees? Apparently me.
Well, I can completely resonate with that. I was a tree girl. So sometimes my mom would get upset and would say that, I swear, you were not born to me. So I totally understand. So as you grew into your teenage, what were your interests?
Definitely. It's always been kind of this trifecta of books, music, and performing. And any way that I could find to work those into whatever I was doing is, kind of become the basis of my life. I love being in front of people, but also diving deep, as you might imagine, seeing my books in my background, diving into the books.
Absolutely. So if I were to ask you, what's your favorite book that you've read?
That's such a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
But
how about this? We'll make it a little bit easier. One of your favorite books.
Sure. Probably American Gods by Neil Gaiman. And it's definitely a book I revisit every year since I first read it in 2002.
Mm.
And if I might add, so if this is how I frequently answer the question, so that's my favorite fiction book. And then my favorite nonfiction book, one that kind of changed my life, was I Could Do Anything If Only I Knew What It Was by Barbara Sher. And so, again, just kind of guiding my life.
Absolutely. I am a fan of books myself, having written 15 books and helped hundreds of authors uh, give voice to their message. I know how special books are because, you write a blog post, you may write an article here or do this and do that. Book is something I still find that it is everlasting. It it can be handed down generations, and especially there's something so precious about that print book or hardcover book. When you hold it, it brings back memories from childhood, sneaking in the bed with a torch and a flashlight, and my mom coming and finding out and just lifting up, okay, time to go to sleep. I told you to turn out lights, and that includes flashlight too. So I definitely know what you mean. And what about music?
So I love, people probably say this all the time, but I love all kinds of music,
Mhm.
from classical music, which I loved from a child, to rock music, sometimes popular music. But as I grew up, I like to find more and more obscure music,
Mhm.
more than what's just popular. I resonate with it so deeply and emotionally. Like, one thing that I try to encourage, I've done for myself, and I try to encourage other business owners to do, is have a business soundtrack. Kind of like people have mission statements for their business, but a business soundtrack really captures the feeling of your
Mhm.
business in a new way. And so, that's been kind of the again, a guiding force.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What music resonates with your business?
A lot of really fun stuff, a novel
Mhm.
stuff, stuff that has to talk about personal freedom, or just kind of doing what you want. And whenever I listen to it, I have a YouTube playlist. It always makes me smile. And
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm getting ready to present a workshop or whatever, I listen to it to remember why I do the things I do.
Right, right, absolutely. So, as you grew in your life, tell us which direction did your life move into? Have you been an entrepreneur whole of your life, or?
I've had an entrepreneurial streak. And
Mhm.
it when I've been an employee, it's always been at least a little interesting. Kind of like in high school, instead of just working at the mall, which I did, selling shoes, I also apprenticed as a candle maker at a Renaissance festival. And I thought when I was a teenager that I wanted to be a therapist. And as I got into my early adulthood, I thought I wanted to be an art therapist. And
Mm.
so I kind of went into college with that focus. And then somewhere along the way, while I was in college, I realized I still liked that aspect of helping people creatively,
Mhm.
but I don't think a therapist would have been my best life. And I just loved small business so much. And so I just kept finding these things, like workshops or whatever that would help me learn more about small business. And I realized I need to help people with small businesses. So it just kind of converged. I don't think I intended to do that, the work that I'm doing, but it here I am.
Well, that's fantastic. And it's wonderful that one can imagine, because when you're imagining and when you're dreaming, you also get to think about different things that you can do, and it brings up opportunities that you would have never thought of. So dreaming is definitely very essential, and that's why we say, right,
Hmm.
that go after your dreams, follow your heart. So as you moved beyond your college years, where did you land?
So that's kind of an interesting thing because I wanted to help people,
Hmm.
with small businesses and coaching and everything. And I found as I went to coaching workshops and, ballrooms full of other coaches, I realized, like many other places in my life, I feel like I didn't fit in, or, you know, um, I found myself trying to help people I didn't understand. And
Mm.
there was this moment back in 2013 when I I just kind of snapped. And I said, I'm going to help people with Halloween based businesses because I had never heard anyone say anything like that. And I just had gotten really uncomfortable trying to be like everybody else and realized
Mhm.
I needed to create my brand. And so when I did that, there I was surrounded by about 1,000 other coaches. And as talk to them, I would just get some raised eyebrows, and it's very interesting. But and once I really settled into that, I realized there was a whole wide world of creative types that were not being addressed by other coaches. And I realized I would be the perfect fit because if somebody went to say any other of the people at that conference with me back in 2013 and said, I want to start a Halloween based business, or I want to be a roller coaster concierge, or something like that, they wouldn't have any idea what to do with them. But I would say, I don't know either, but let's find out. That sounds fun.
Yeah, no,
And so
definitely.
yeah, once I settled into that,
Hmm.
life got very fun and very interesting, and it opened up a whole new world to me, and it's been wonderful ever since.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I want to go back and touch upon one of those points that you shared about I did not want to work with people that did not seem to be your ideal client. And one of the things what happens is that most of the small business owners, they want to serve everyone. And when you are serving everyone, you're serving no one because you're not speaking their language. And
Right.
when we talk about the ideal client avatar, there are a lot of people like, oh, what the heck is ideal client avatar? It is the person that you want to serve. And when you found that out, what went through your mind?
It opened up a whole new venue, but also it quieted down my imposter syndrome that, I felt like I was previously. I felt like I was a fraud or trying to fake it till I made it, and it
Mm.
wasn't working out. And then once I started attending events as a vendor and a speaker with the Be Weird Make Money brand, it felt like coming home.
Hmm.
People would walk by my booth and they would see my banner that says Be Weird Make Money, and I would see them from far off, and they would nudge their friend and point and giggle, and they would walk by and be like, I'm weird, I want to make money. And so again, just I realized that work could be really fun, or my practice could look the way I wanted it to look. And again, it just felt such relief. That I guess, that's what was going through my mind, relief, like, oh, I've come home.
If you're open, I'd like to explore that because a lot of women experience that imposter syndrome. So,
Hmm.
to you, what was imposter syndrome, and what feelings did it bring up for you?
So it felt like I was trying to play business or play
Hmm.
coach. And at any moment, I was going to get found out, and, like the coach police were going to come in and, take me away and point at me and say, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And yeah, I think until I really found and accepted my niche, I knew I should be doing this work, but it felt like I was trying to wear somebody else's shoes, And so, yeah. And so once I settled down.
So let's explore that a little bit further. When you say that I felt that I was in somebody else's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hint upon it? What brought that feeling on?
By trying to help people who escape regular jobs, like regular people who wanted mainstream careers or jobs. I didn't understand that because that's not something I've ever done. And, even with their small business ideas, sometimes they just felt like I wasn't the best person to help them, but they were standing in front of me. So I thought, okay, well, you have a pulse and a credit card. I guess I'll try and help. But they knew it, and I knew it wasn't
like that you're not feeling aligned with what you were doing, and that's what might have caused that. Was that true for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And, so yeah, trying to wear something that didn't fit, and not being authentic. I mean, that's a word that gets thrown around a lot these days, but that's what it was. I felt like I was being inauthentic, and that's just not something that feels very good.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you're true to yourself, then you don't have to think about it to put on that mask or be someone that you're not for somebody else. Because what you're doing is you have your passion, you are true to it, you're having fun, you're just being. Because there's that two different states. One is the state of doing and one is the state of being. And when you're in that state of being, it just flows.
Right.
So that definitely makes sense. And so tell us, let's say, then what happened?
So the next big part of the journey was growing from my basic training as a coach, and really differentiating myself, because that I realized that was important. I owe everything to my training and my mentors because I wouldn't be here without them. But to really serve my people, I needed to figure out additional questions and additional exercises to be asking and doing, because my audience, had, just something a little extra. And so that was really the big thing. And for a long time, it wasn't imposter syndrome, but I was almost afraid to grow beyond my training and my mentors. And that was a really interesting thing too, because even though I'm trained in their method and licensed to use the material, I felt like I was stealing, and I wanted it to be mine. And so that has been the journey of the most recent years of differentiating and really making this work mine. And that has been juicy and beautiful.
Okay, so let's go back to the time when you were working with the Halloween-based business.
Yeah. So that was really neat because I've been around Halloween creatives, for a long time. And when I decided that I wanted to help Halloween business owners, I went to apply to speak at one of the larger conventions designed for Halloween entrepreneurs. And I realized that almost all of their business training was about how to have a Halloween haunted attraction, which, like going to the 13th door and having, getting scared, paying $20 to get scared. And I thought, well, what about all the mom and pop businesses, all the support businesses? Why isn't anyone talking to those folks? And so when I submitted the proposal, they said, that's great. We haven't had anyone do that yet. And so that was a lot of fun. And I, helped some people along the way. And again, like, it opened up a whole lot of doors for me, and just my awareness of the opportunity of all the folks who have really quirky, odd interests, that could maybe use my help.
Mm-hmm. So are you up for a game where, I'll ask you, I'll just throw in some quirky disciplines and see how you can help them make money?
Sure. I love it.
All right. So before we get into that, let's have a short quiz about you. We'd love to get to know more about you, Kimberly.
Sure.
So would you rather be sitting in your bedroom and watching a TV, or would you rather be in a theater watching a movie?
Mm-hmm. Probably a theater. I've spent a lot of time indoors this last year.
Definitely. I definitely want to be outdoors. And would you rather go to moon or Mars?
I think the moon.
Why so?
There's something just, I don't know, lovely and mysterious about the moon. And it's so close to us and influences us so much. I think I'd like to go there. Now, had you asked me when I was 10, I did a whole science experiment about living on Mars. but if today you're asking me, I think the moon. Yeah.
So now let's say, would you rather have a TV or a cell phone? And of course, they've got charge, they've got Wi-Fi, they've got all the connections. Ooh. If you were marooned on an island, I know it's just contradictory, right?
Right.
But it's just that one piece of item that you're allowed to have.
I think I would go with the cell phone because there would be the potential to be connected rather than checked out and passive, just watching the TV.
No, some fun answers. And what would you say is your kryptonite?
Oh, that's a good question. Unexpected harsh criticism. I'm used to being judged, criticized, whatever. But when it comes out of left field, when I feel like I've done my best, sometimes that it still throws me soft and fuzzy inside.
Well, it's okay because we are open for constructive criticism, and that's just throwing off harsh criticism at anyone. I just feel that that's not the way to be done. You can share what you're thinking, and yet it can be done with grace. And
right. I think sometimes people blur that line of, I want to tell you how it is, but I want to tell you and be mean about it. But you're right. You have the option to share a criticism or a thought, and you can be kind about it and say, I really didn't care for that, rather than you're a bad person because you did it that way.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable about it. So when that happens, how do you handle it?
I do my best to not take it personally, even though in that moment, my heart starts beating faster and my face gets flushed and I just want to run away. I do my best to say, thanks for the input. I'll do better next time. Or I'm sorry, this didn't work for you, or whatever the situation or criticism is coming in, my first instinct is to apologize, which is, a very learned female
Response.
trait, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever I can do to make the person less agitated, and calm down the situation, it's even more important for that to happen than for me to feel better in that moment, whatever I've been criticized about. So that's kind of my operating system.
And that's wonderful that you are taking the high road, and not many people do that. And it leads
it would be easy to fight back, but or maybe satisfying in that moment. But yeah, it's ultimately not going to get me where I want, as far as personal interactions. So,
So there is this girl, her name is Jenna, and she loves to do gardening. How can she make money? She's weird. She's weird in the sense that not everybody loves to go ahead and pitter-patter in the garden and dig soil, but when she's there, she's digging this, her hands are in that wet soil, and even when she smells that yucky fertilizer,
right, exactly,
she's happy, and she has a green thumb.
So the way I think of businesses is kind of this umbrella of business models. And so if Jenna came to me and said, I really love gardening, what can I do? My first thought would be to kind of run through the spokes of the umbrella. And that could be services. That's my first thought, is she could get paid to work on other people's gardens or help them design their own gardens. She could create products like tools, or she could create seedlings. She could grow seedlings to sell. She could teach a class with information, and she could teach other people how to garden, either in person or online. She could create a course. I think it would be best in person. So like if she went to a community garden and helped everybody get their garden started. She could have a mail order business or affiliate sales, and where she had a YouTube channel or blog talking about gardening, and she could sell seedlings or seed packets or tools, whether they're her own design or not. She could have a community garden of her own that she could rent out space in. She could have a bricks and mortar business where she has a farm, and she sells what she grows, or have a tea room. And so yeah, those are a couple of ways that I could think of off the top of my head.
Well, those are some wonderful ways to get her business going. So if you want to share a couple of stories where you have taken different niches which people have not heard of and help them get money, go ahead, do share it.
Sure. So I coached a woman recently whose niche is paranormal experiences. And she had created a deck of oracle cards, which are, kind of spirit cards, or like tarot cards. And she had designed them. She had created all the meanings for them. And we were figuring out the best way to get them out into the world. But as we were talking, just in our sessions, what she really wanted to do is to help people process their experiences. And, so we talked about ways she could do that. And so that's pretty niche. And then, let's see, one other that I've had recently that was really interesting was somebody who does a lot with like movies and scripts, and was trying to figure out the best ways to monetize them, in addition to the most typical ways of, you write a movie script and you sell it, and we were talking about different ways they could do like blogs and interviews and podcasts, because I said it all depends on how you want to do this. I said they hadn't decided by the time we ended our session, but it was really neat to talk about. Like, one thing they do is they write for a blog that tells people when it's okay to go to the bathroom in the movies. If there's something boring coming up, they're like, it's okay, after this scene you can run. And I thought, how fun is that? And so because movies and entertainment is a wide field, and it's very saturated, and so it's key to figure out what what makes it special, that you're the only one who can tell this story, or you're the only one who can really interview these folks that way. Another person I helped recently was looking to be an itinerant organizer, almost like Marie Kondo, but from like a different organizing perspective. But they really love traveling. They kind of, Rolling Stone gathers no moss, and they wanted to travel and figure out how to organize along the way. And I said, "Ooh, I think that could be really fun. You could create almost like a boutique experience and command a higher price by really specializing in what you do, so that people would invite you to come. They would fly you out, or say, please come to my place that's 1,000 miles from here, so whatever." And I just thought that would be a lot of fun. And so, while I'm not an organizer myself, I could probably use one. I understand that need of like, oh yeah, everybody needs that. And all you need to do is find who wants what you have, and so I look forward to hearing how that goes for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, okay, let's look at a couple of other cases. Okay, so let's say there is John. So, John loves to do magic. And as you know, with COVID-19, there has been a dry spell where
Certainly.
people are not doing as many parties. And yes, people are meeting outside. And yet, magicians have kind of gone a little bit out of style. So, what could this guy do?
So again, kind of revisiting my umbrella of business models with entertainment and performance, and this year has been particularly challenging. It's where you find, again, who wants what you have, and see how you can translate your performance, your entertainment, into a way that people can consume these days. And so I would invite him to really get comfortable on camera, and have almost like, perhaps even a membership site would be too much, but like a Patreon, where people are interested in what he does, and he could have like a trick of the day or a trick of the week, and people could, um, get access to that. In addition to things like, um, I know there is like a big no to kind of share the secret, but you could maybe have a few gentle, like, how to do this trick, and put it up there. And if it involved props of any kind, you can make a video, put it up on YouTube, and have affiliate links for people to purchase the deck of cards or whatever accoutrement would go with that. That that might be kind of my first instincts for him.
No, that definitely makes sense. It's some good tips out there. So, Kimberly, as you are growing into and helping people, what's next for you?
I am looking forward to creating more community because I think that's the one thing that people are, especially this last year, people are really craving community and a place where they feel understood. And that goes for everybody. But I feel like my audience reflects back to me the importance of feeling heard and understood and not judged. And so in addition to just working with people one on one, I'm looking for for ways that I can create and foster community online at first, and then hopefully, as the world progresses through the pandemic, back to in-person events where we can get together and play and have fun with ideas. And yeah,
Well, community is very near and dear to my heart because when people come together, there is nothing more powerful than that. Because if you are doing group share, it's so many different life experiences and bringing it together, learning from each other and supporting each other. That's very powerful.
Mhm.
And what is in the works? How are you planning to grow your community?
I had started last year doing virtual summits,
Hmm.
and I really liked that model. And I remember a couple of years ago thinking how fun it would be to have in-person summits. You know,
Yeah.
when I first wrote down the idea of the be I think I wrote Weird World Summits down and I got so excited. I was like, what would that even look like? Probably a circus. You know? And I just love the idea. And I've toyed with the idea of having themed events, themed live events,
Mhm.
where it would be all one interest. Like last year, one of the summits I did was about how to make money if you love gaming, video games, role playing games, board games, whatever, any kind of gaming. And, so having a themed event or just having it be wild and woolly and see who shows up and to have fun. And it would be about, for, and I've thought, do I have it just for people who are getting started or for people who have established something but want to grow it bigger?
Mhm.
And that's where I encourage people, like you've started with one thing, let's expand and have more fun with it. And so that's what I envision. If nothing else, until I get my own events going, I really want to get back into going attending events where my people are.
Mhm.
And because it's so much fun for me to just get out there and talk to people, even if I'm not directly consulting with them, they're such interesting, fun people. I just love talking to them. And so it's connecting in a way that we haven't been able to do for a while.
Mhm.
And it's totally understandable, but I really like the in-person aspect whenever possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And things are moving towards being normalcy quite rapidly. So
Yes.
hopefully that'll be the case. And a lot of parents are very, very hesitant about, their kids picking up some odd hobbies, thinking that, oh my goodness, what other people are going to think about them? Are they going to be deemed as weirdos, or how are people going to perceive them? What would you tell those parents?
I get it. And but the world is changing as far as, go to school, learn a trade or one thing and stay with one employer for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
And I think there's the world we live in right now has so much opportunity available that I would encourage the parents to just open up to those opportunities. One thing that I love is teenage entrepreneurs or young entrepreneurs, kids who have paid for college before they're even out of high school so that they have the option to go or not, because they already have a viable income, hopefully doing something that they love, and I would love to see kids going to college because they want to, not because they feel like they have to. And, having had the experience, like I'd love to foster young entrepreneurs and help them see that they have the power within them, to create things and don't have to wait for an employer or whatever. They can kind of do their own thing. But I get where the parents are coming from,
right?
Because nobody wants their kid to be ostracized or teased or, quote unquote, live in the basement forever.
Yep.
But it doesn't have to be like that.
No, you're absolutely right. So definitely good suggestions there. So if people were to reach out to you, Kimberly, where should they reach out to you and how can they connect with you?
Sure. The best places are my Facebook business page, which is just under Be Weird Make Money, or they can email me at Kimberly@BeWeirdMakeMoney.com. And I always love to chat with people. I love getting emails from people saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think anyone would ever understand. I'm so glad I found you." So please, I invite people to just reach out, say hi, see the videos I've created for my Facebook business page, and let's have fun.
Oh, I like that. Let's have fun. Well, thank you, Kimberly, for joining us. And sharing all those great ideas, because I'm sure it's going to spark some ideas in our audience. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Divya.
My pleasure. Now, listeners, thank you for joining us. And if you have any pressing issues, please do join us and let us know. We are here to serve and support you. We'll bring you those stories that will help you. And folks, if anybody is looking to grow your book marketing skills or writing skills, feel free to join us in the Facebook group. It is under facebook.com/groups/authors marketing circle. And join us next time. Looking forward to it. And thank you, Rebel, for making this show possible. Until next time, take care and be well.
Thank you for being part of Beyond Confidence with your host, Divya Parekh. We hope you have learned more about how to start living the life you want. Each week on Beyond Confidence, you hear stories of real people who have experienced growth by overcoming their fears and building meaningful relationships. During Beyond Confidence, Divya Parekh shares what happened to her when she stepped out of her comfort zone to work directly with people across the globe. She not only coaches people how to form heart connections, but also transform relationships to mutually beneficial partnerships as they strive to live the life they want. If you are ready to live the life you want and leverage your strengths, learn more at www.divyaparekh.com. And you can connect with Divya at contact@divyaparekh.com. We look forward to you joining us next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.